All right. Well, if anybody's listening yet, we'll wait a few minutes just to see if we can get some more people to join in. And then I'll kind of give a quick update of where we sit on everything, and then be more than happy to answer questions. Let's wait a couple more minutes.
So we could have a theme song.
Theme song?
A theme song. What's your favorite song?
I don't have one. I don't listen to much music. We have some people on. Do we have some people on?
Yeah, we've got 9 people watching right now.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to start off then to give you guys kind of an update of where we are. I'm going to start off with our grant. The city has applied for a $300,000 grant for local businesses. What this means is we're still developing what it would look like, but essentially the city would be awarded this from the state of Kansas, from the CDBG funds that are held by the state. If we're awarded the full $300,000 that we applied for, our businesses then could apply for that $300,000, our local businesses. Again, we haven't worked through all the details on how that application would work, but this would be a true grant. It wouldn't be a loan, so our local businesses would be able to benefit from that, as well as our employees. I'm going to go into our next council meeting. Our next council meeting will be Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the library. Be a normal style format. Obviously, we'll be still following social distancing guidelines, all the phased-in approaches, just as the city, state and city has decided to phase in our reopening. Get into our parks and playgrounds. So we are going to, effective on the 1st of June, go ahead and open up our parks and playgrounds. Based on what we're seeing from the county level, we're at, I think, 63 confirmed cases. Around 56, 57 people have recovered from it. So we feel safe to go ahead and start opening up some of those leisure items. That includes the parks and playgrounds. So June 1st, Monday, those will be starting to open up, and the fencing will be removed at that time. But again, those are not disinfected, so you want to make sure that you're safe, follow all the guidelines, and just be cognizant that while we are reopening, that this pandemic is still ongoing, and be aware of that. Get to the two things on a lot of people's mind. We'll start with the pool. So we did have myself and Glenn Rodden had a meeting with the rec department last night, and jointly decided to go ahead and open the pool on a limited basis. Now this is all contingent upon them being able to staff it appropriately, but the process going forward will probably look like a phased-in opening again. Towards the end of June is when we're hoping to have it open. It will be for swim lessons and lap swim only to start out with, and then we'll have to see how everything progresses from there. I can tell you your rec department, as well as the city staff, have been working diligently on this for the last 2 to 3 weeks. We have it's been a long process. We've talked to other communities on what they're doing, and we feel like the plan that was jointly decided by the city and the rec commission is a good plan to go forward, and will be safe for everybody, as well as provide something for our children and our adults to do to keep their health up. 4th of July, that's difficult for me. 4th of July is my favorite holiday. So 4th of July is going to look different. The city's role in that, in 4th of July, is essentially we purchase the fireworks. Outside of that, the Rec Commission Rec Commission sponsors put on the bands and everything like that. So we are looking at an abbreviated or somewhat different look for 4th of July this year. I think the plans are still being worked out by the Rec Commission. As far as the city side, we are still planning on having fireworks. But again, I think those plans are still being developed. But it's definitely going to look different than what we saw last year. And again, none of these decisions have been made lightly. We've really had lots of discussion about it and tried to come up with a happy medium for everybody. And so I think as that progresses, again, as far as the city side, our only decision was to go ahead and provide fireworks or not, and we've decided that we do want to continue to have the fireworks at least, and the Rec Commission will be making their decision on how the actual celebration will look from there. So with all of that, happy to take any questions. Lynn, I can't see the computer here, it shut off on me, so do we have any questions or anything?
So far, nothing.
Okay.
Don't forget that there's a bit of lag in between what you're saying and when people actually hear it online.
Okay.
So
We'll wait a couple minutes, see if anybody has questions for me, and more than happy to answer those.
we've got about 18 people watching. Clint Upperly says hi.
Hey, Clint.
Shut off my hand a little bit. Okay. Casey asked if the pool will be opening. Casey, right?
Yeah.
Which you already
Yeah.
addressed.
Yeah, the pool will be open on a very limited, phased-in basis with swim lessons and lap swim only, with the caveat that we have proper staffing, which the Rec Commission is working on getting by June 15th. So we're looking at a late June open.
Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3 questions, 4 questions about the pool here. Let's see. Someone asked you to talk about the pool again because they didn't catch the beginning. Given the pool later opens for open swim, how does the city regulate surrounding communities that have closed pools?
We discussed that, and really there's, that's difficult to try to regulate that. We know Eudora's opening, we know Osage City's opening, we know some others are closing. So I think that's going to be ongoing discussions on that if we're going to try to regulate that, or if we even get into a full open season. Like I said earlier, we are right now only opening for swim lessons, so that way that life safety aspect for our children are accomplished, as well as just lap swim. You'll see in the council packet the Rec Commission's recommendation on how that. Ultimately, the Rec Commission are the ones that operate the pool. The city owns it. So it's kind of going to be their recommendations, but they are following all CDC guidelines. I'm not sure that we will see a full opening of the pool, though, this year. But our main goal was, again, to give our adults some sort of healthy workout that they can do safely, as well as our children the life safety learning that they need for swim lessons. But this is all contingent upon us getting the proper staffing that we're not exactly sure that we may be able to get. So our Rec Commission's working diligently on trying to get that.
So a quick recap about the pool for those who are just joining. Essentially,
yeah. So
is there a timeline?
Yeah, the pool, they're trying to get staffing done by June 15th to make sure they have enough staff. At that point, the pool will be filled and treated. We're looking at a late June opening for lap swim and swim lessons only. And then we're going to have to see how the phases work out past there, if we can open it up more broadly. Again, it depends on where we sit with the phase in. also where we sit in staffing, because if we don't have staffing, then it's going to continue on a limited basis only.
And the city and the rec commission are working closely on this.
Yeah, the city, we have been having constant meetings with the rec commission on how that works, and the decision was developed jointly.
There's a question about fireworks stands. Will the fireworks stands be affected?
No, you'll see on this next council meeting, all the permits have been applied for. It's on them to again do their social distancing and follow the CDC guidelines. If the county is now the controlling entity for us on that, and if they continue to follow the governor's phase out, then by that point we might be out of that. But I would still recommend following the proper protocols from the CDC guidelines. But it will be up to each stand to
purchasing fireworks,
yep.
But then private fireworks shows would go on as normal.
Yep, I mean privately held home-based stuff will more than likely be normal, because our gathering limits continue to increase with each phase.
Hang on a second. We've got several more people that just joined, and I'm just trying to monitor because you're also live on Twitter. So I'm trying to make sure that we get all the comments both places. So basically, this summer is going to look different, but in Baldwin City, we're trying to keep a normal pattern of life, just with tighter restrictions.
Yeah, this summer's going to be different. I mean, it's definitely not going to be normal. The events are going to look different, but we're trying to mesh, different and normal together as best we can. I think, again, you have a lot of good community service members that are working diligently to provide as much as we can while keeping everybody safe at the same time.
And the next council meeting will return to a normal council.
Relatively normal council. I mean, we're still following the CDC guidelines. But we're going to be meeting in person again. Obviously, the digital platforms will still be there for everybody to watch. We have to limit our numbers still as the current phase allows, but we are going to start meeting in person again.
Amber Walters wants to know if lap swimming will be open for older children, since there won't be swim teams.
That would have to be a rec commission. Again, they operate the swimming pool. We're working jointly, but I know that I believe and don't quote me on this, but I believe from the document I saw, it's going to be by appointment. You're going to have to schedule, because they're only going to allow so many people on each lap swim, and with a time in between to disinfect and everything. But I don't think they're limiting it to any type of or any age group that I'm aware of. But that's a rec commission decision.
Right, and there will be more information coming.
Yeah, there'll be more information come from the rec commission on how those will all operate and work together.
Casey Wright would like to know, can you speak at all about the baseball, softball seasons and how those will work within the CDC guidelines? We're trying to make good decisions on what to sign up for while being safe.
Again, Casey, I'd have to defer to the rec commission, just because that's their call. It does sound like, from what I've heard, that they're going to start that in July, but I'm not sure what their procedures are going to be. So I would definitely recommend giving them a call and talking to them about it, because I just don't know.
And we've got a bit of quiet for a moment.
All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes, and again, I want to reiterate to everybody, your rec commission as well as your city continue to work very, very closely together on a lot of these decisions. There's a lot of discussion, and everybody has Baldwin City citizens' interests in the forefront on every single decision made, and how we can try to bring some sort of sense of normalcy back to the community, but again, while keeping everybody safe. That's the main priority in all these decisions.
Can you speak to the parks and playgrounds again?
Yeah, we're opening up. We're going to remove the fencing. There is signage at each park and playground, just that the city doesn't infect those or disinfect those. But we are opening those back up June 1st. On Monday, the fencing will be removed to allow use of those again as part of kind of our phase-in approach. But please watch your children and make sure that all sanitary measures as well as CDC guidelines are being followed while using that equipment.
So it's essentially use at your own risk.
Yeah, it's use at your own risk type of system, just like the parks always are. But there is signage at each park now.
Do you want to speak at all to any of the sidewalk projects or?
Yeah, I can talk about the sidewalk projects. Right now, as many people are seeing, High Street, we're getting sidewalks replaced down between City Hall and the depot. That's being worked on, as well as our sidewalk out on the east side of town to allow, again, all these sidewalks are meant for is to help our children get safely to our schools. That was what the system was designed around. But as people are seeing, both ends of sidewalks, High Street and the east sidewalk leg, are being worked on currently. The sidewalk from Baker to the school crossing on the railroad tracks is bid out. I think it's supposed to start late summer, mid to late summer. So that will be completed this fall, hopefully. And then we are just starting the process of the sidewalk from 56 down to the depot along the railroad tracks. Essentially, will give us 3 points of entrance to the school crossing to go to our 2 elementary schools.
And the law enforcement center is on?
Yeah, law enforcement center is on schedule. As far as we know, should see the move will probably take place towards the end of July, beginning of August. So they'll be moved in there, and then we have some decisions to make on what the old facility will be used for from then. But yeah, it's coming together really nicely.
And Mark Barnhart is asking about the 4th of July. I think he missed it.
Yeah, so Mark, the 4th of July is going to be different. The city controls the fireworks side of it. That's what we do. The rec commission essentially puts on all the acts and handles all that coordination. It's going to look different. I'm not, the city's made the decision that no, we're still going to have the fireworks portion of it. And I think the rec commission is looking at different events we can have, because again, when you book acts, decisions have to be made 30 days ahead of time. But on our side, we have made the decision that we're still going to do the fireworks portion. And I think it's going to look much different, unfortunately, this year than what it did last year. But again, we still will have city fireworks.
I think that's pretty much, seems like people pretty much wanted to know about the pool and the fireworks.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody again. We plan on doing these periodically and continued. I want to reiterate that, we still have the utility deferment program. If you've lost your job, if funds are tight, feel free to call City Hall and utilize that deferment program so we can help. Be looking for information once we get our grant. Hopefully we get our grant for the local businesses. I'll be doing another live question and answer session about that. And as we move through these pool phases and the summer phases, hopefully we have a better direction in the coming weeks. So, but again, I want to thank everybody for their support, for their questions, and I look forward to talking to you all soon.